Hello and welcome back. So today, our workbook lesson number 5 here is I am never upset for the reason that I think. So to help us understand this, we're going to go back to our image again. And in order to understand this one, we don't really need to go through any elements of this too thoroughly. Really what we need to do is just say, uh, we we've talked about how this image is not reliable and how we see it and feel a certain way about it. But we're not mad because of what we see here. Or, well, a lot of times we're not mad at what we see here. It wouldn't be enough most of the time on its own for this to make us angry. Um, why we're angry or why we feel upset or why we feel worried or whatever else is usually mostly responsible to the feeling of understanding that parts of us have, so both this light and this mind, of what reality is. So we've forgotten many things, but there's parts of us that understand that this is a lie. So you may have noticed in your day-to-day life that you'll have a time where you have no justification for being depressed. You have no justification for feeling a certain way. Sometimes it's in the opposite situation of when you should be feeling it. Maybe you feel depressed and something really good just happened. The reality of the situation is that you're experiencing something that's beyond this whole situation that we see here. And it's more related to this. So maybe and that's the irony of doing something great here, is it ties you closer to this image because you want to stay in this image, and maybe that makes this part of you more depressed because this is a part that always sees what's going on and sees and understands more in this subconscious, superconscious world than what anything within this world will be comprehending. So for now, that's enough. Kind of think of this like when you fly off the handle with somebody for no reason. Same as what we're already talking about. You really have no reason to get mad, but something happened earlier in the day, and you were right at that moment where you could kind of take it out on something else. And that's what a reality of most of the negative emotions we feel is we're already in a position where we're willing to lash out at the world. Maybe we even anticipate what is going to happen because we know the light really knows everything, right? Like it knows it's beyond time, so it can understand and anticipate what could happen. So maybe it's already it's coming through in the consciousness of what is going to be a negative experience. So this is an important thing for us to address. So the way the course starts is, number one, start with the idea for today. So I'm never upset for the reason that I think. And then you're just going to sit where you are and search your mind for about a minute or so. And when you do this, you're going to use the form of upset in this place right here. So angry, I am never afraid at, so maybe it's a person, maybe it's a situation that you come out. I'm never angry at, say, work for the reason that I think. So I'm never afraid of Bob for the reason that I think. All of these things we make associations with, but really the emotion itself is the lie. So the lie is this: we're feeling something other than love, which is what in our true state we should be feeling. All these other things are a replacement for it. And when you neglect love, you have a bunch of associations that you lose. So when you neglect, or that you don't lose, I shouldn't say that. There's a bunch of associations that your lower consciousness, so the bottom of the iceberg, or the water around it, those lower elements know that you're going away from love. And then that causes huge conflict because you're doing something against the will of God. And part of you knows that. So you feel all these things, these negative emotions, but it's really just fear that you're having of breaking what is reality. But we'll get into that. It's not actually the case, but what you believe is the issue right now. So you're going to have a lot of things that come up when you're going through this. So if it seems minimal, if it seems like a little small thing, they give you the line to say there are no small upsets. They're all equally disturbing to my peace of mind. So if there's something that seems like it's too minimal that you shouldn't really make any qualms over, keep that in mind. And then there'll also be something you'd be very conflicted about that you don't want to let go or you don't want to say is not something. I can imagine some of us are being or define ourselves by what we went through. So to say that that wasn't the reason, and when it's something that is very justified to make you feel that way, you won't want to let it go. So in this case, they say, I cannot keep this form of upset and let the others go. For the purposes of these exercises, then, I will regard them as the same. So this gives you access to a minimal way of saying it, but really you have to view them all as the same. Because anyone that's going to be welled up in you, that something you can't see that is just the absence of love, is going to cause a lot of upset to those lower subconscious parts of your mind, and those are going to represent themselves as all these things when the smallest little thing comes up, depending on how much you're feeling each one of these at the time. So for this, 3 or 4 times today, if you can, morning, midday, and evening. And optional throughout the day, you can, if you become aware of you're conflicted, address it in the same way. So if you feel depression, you say, I'm not depressed for the reason I think. I'm not worried about blank for the reason that I think. These are things that'll just help you rewire these elements of your mind to realize that you're never feeling these emotions for the reasons that you probably think you are. Okay, so that is our day 5. Yes, day 5. All right. Well, have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.